Okay, as we enter the danger zone, standing right in front of the next boss because he does not care about us whatsoever. It is Matthias. Brace yourselves for a mechanics overload, but I promise you it is really not that bad. Actually, this one, it's got a lot going on, but they are the same fundamentally, and it's very well telegraphed. So a lot of this is just don't stand in the bad, right? Like Matthias is a very, very don't stand in the bad and you'll be okay type of fight. Not a lot of gimmick mechanics here. Very straightforward encounter in that regard. So, first up, as soon as you start the encounter, he'll put up a red shield and start firing out projectiles. The only way to break through this is by reflecting those projectiles back at him. Typically, you'll use a Mesmer with feedback, but Guardian can do it with Wall of Reflection. Thief can even do it with auto attacks if you really want to. Use a Reflect to reflect that back at him. Be very careful, like don't bring stuff like Corrosive Poison Cloud or any kind of projectile block, because that will actually screw it up and then leave him still invulnerable there as well. Make sure you place down your feedback right as he starts using the projectiles. Otherwise, it will actually be not enough and the shield will remain. You have to wait until he starts firing again and you have feedback back to actually break through. After that, start hitting the boss. Right, you'll also get Corruption. Random players get a Corruption. When you have this debuff, you do AoE damage to yourself and everyone around you. So go to one of the pools that are marked here. Go ahead and mark them like that. When you take a Corruption to a pool, this turns the pool red. And this means that it can't be used for a while, so you'll need to use all 4 pools. So keep an eye on which ones are available. It can also help to do it in a coherent way. For example, you could start on arrow, then do circle, then do heart, then do square, and then rotate around like that. That can be easy. Tanking on this was very weird. He basically chases after the furthest person away, so just try and have everyone as central as possible so he doesn't move too much. That's basically the way to handle that. He also has a slam attack. He'll leap into the air and slam his staff down, firing out projectiles. Do not reflect this, as it will, if you reflect the projectiles back onto him, he'll do massively increased damage for a time. This is very, very dangerous and can lead to wipes. Now, we have a sacrifice mechanic. Periodically, random players will get teleported to the center of the arena, will become vulnerable to your team to attack, and will get a break bar. If you don't break the bar, the player dies instantly, so make sure you CC. The player takes massively reduced power damage, but actually takes full condition damage, so be very careful with condies. Avoid hitting it at all costs unless you're using crowd control, otherwise you can actually kill this player. You do not want to do that, but go ahead and take a lot of additional CC to make sure you get the job done here as well. Matthias also has a very deadly one-shot style attack. He'll fire out an orb of energy in front of him after doing a short animation, like spinning his staff round. So watch out for that. In general, just stand behind the boss and you'll be okay. Now let's talk about the weather mechanics. This is kind of the key mechanic of this fight that will change as the fight evolves. From 100% to 80%, ice patches spawn and you get chilled periodically. Ice patches can be destroyed with fire, which typically you'll have a sun spirit, which will just basically mean they'll all get destroyed very easily. Or something like a necro firebrand, blah, blah, blah. Don't sound the ice patches, cleanse the chill, boom. 80 to 60, it's fire phase. If you stay still, you take a bit of ticking damage, so kind of jiggle around a little bit. You get periodic burning. There are fire tornadoes, don't stand in those. And you get an action key. Action key is a bit like Sloth. You move it out of the group, otherwise it will spawn an AoE that nukes everyone. So go ahead and move out to the edge of the arena and place that down. Don't put it in a pool though. This is not the same as the corruption mechanic. You have to actually go out and then drop it down. It will start pulsing damage immediately, so try and have a dodge roll set up to dodge out of the AoE. Otherwise you may risk going into downstate. 60 to 40%, it's all slippery. This is where having boon thieves or some kind of stability application can be very, very handy, because the more you move, you gain a stack of a debuff. At 10 stacks, you'll get an image, an icon of a little man about to fall over above your head. If you move any more after that, you will fall over. If this happens, just stop moving for a little while, okay, and then start moving again. You can stun break out of it, so you can actually go ahead and eat that and stun break out if you want, and stability will prevent it as well. So any kind of stability source is very, very powerful here. Additionally, you'll also have storm clouds rotating around the room. Don't stand in those, and you'll have a spreading mechanic. So if you get AoEs around yourself, move away from other people, or they're going to get one-shot. This is very important, right? The AoEs will nuke you very, very hard. Below 40%, the boss will roid out, fear everyone, again, stability if you can, and then basically turn into a giant version of himself, and those mechanics will just rotate around, guys, okay? You will rotate around those mechanics. You'll start on ice, then go fire, then storm, and that will happen until he dies. You won't get sacrifices below 40%, but what you will do is have more spreading circles and an additional mechanic called the Ghost. The Ghost will spawn at random places around the room, and then walk directly across the room. Okay, if you touch it, you die instantly. Well, not instantly, but you take massive damage, so try not to do that. This can be particularly hazardous during the water phase, as you might get CC'd, then the ghost will walk onto you and kill you, so avoid that. His animations are different below 40%, but his ability toolkit is essentially the same, so don't worry about that. Really good classes here are Heal Necro, because all the mechanics are essentially revivable and recoverable. Heal Ellie is amazing. Boon Thief is amazing. Chronomancer is amazing. Firebrand's amazing for stability, right? All those things are fantastic. Just stack up, get the job done, boom, annihilate the boss. Okay? It's the one thing here to note, and this is a general thing here, get back to your group and restack and restabilize as quick as you possibly can. The only really thing that's going to get you and is going to wipe you here is if you get too spread out, players get isolated, and the fight snowballs. So here's the reflect. Our feedback was actually a little bit early there. Let's see if it's going to be off. I think it should be, since we have two of them. There's the corruption, so the corruption is going to move out and go to arrow. There we go. You want to be a little bit careful with feedback like that, guys. If you go too early, things can be problematic. But anyway, we're going to have our first sacrifice. You can see who's going to be. It's the druid. This is a very key CC here. Let's go ahead and CC. Let's get this player out. There we are. Good. Now we move back to the boss here. Let's go ahead and hit the boss. We actually reflected some of his projectiles. Great example. There's the one-shot attack. So you can see that he gets 10% more damage per projectile you reflect back at him. So be very careful. Now we're on the fire phase, so we want to keep jiggling a little bit here. And now we have our corruption move out. There's the action key there. So you have it on Inseparables. Inseparables will now move out with that and go ahead and place it down. There we go. There's the placement. We can just go ahead and cleanse that player to keep them up there as much as we possibly can. And let's keep going. Now we have that mechanic go out there once again. There'll be another sacrifice incoming pretty soon. So let's get rid of that. Dodge that slam attack. You can actually block, as you can see there, our druid. Oh, perfect druid gameplay there. Can go ahead. You can do, if you have like a projectile block, you can use it there to actually destroy that. Here's a sacrifice, and there we go. See, if you do have something like Druid Star 5, or even a Corrosive Poison Cloud, if you're feeling very, very frisky, you can actually block that mechanic there and prevent those projectiles from doing edge. We actually have a down set there. We can go ahead and revive that real quick. There we go. So here is the slippery phase. We saw the spread mechanic. There are the storm clouds. Don't stand in that. Not good. And we want to avoid moving as much as we possibly can. So we're just going to be very, very chill here. Not really moving. There's another spread. We can just go ahead and spread out. There we go. And just go ahead and avoid moving. We can go ahead and get the player. Oh, someone got nuked there. That's fine. Get the revive. Keep it going there. Can see Mises there slipped over. Can give him a nice barrier. So he survives them. And here's the next phase. So if you have a stability, you can use it now. I'm just going to try and give as many people stab as we possibly can. And then cleanse people of the fear if they do get feared. And there we go. You can see more spreading circles here. There's the one shot. We actually have a down set over there. We're going to go ahead and grab that. Cleanse the chill from the group. Get this revival. And the fight essentially repeats. As you can see, we're back on the ice phase right now. There's the ghost. Watch out for that. Don't touch that ghost. You'll be very, very sad if that is the case. And this is basically it. This is the entire fight. So you're going to see it change to fire very shortly. There you go. There's the fire phase. And then after that mechanic, just restack ASB. So as you can see, his animation's a bit different. That's the projectile animation now. So just be a little bit careful there. And watch out for those tornadoes. See what's happening here? They got tornadoed into the ghost. And that's kind of what I mean. Like, the difficulty in this fight is the compounding mechanics. Like, mechanics can kind of snowball out of control and wipe you. So just restacking, regrouping, is the most important thing that you can do on this encounter. Is getting back to your team is the most important thing. And don't be afraid. If you're a healer, don't be afraid to actually escort players to the corruption. Say if you're on your druid or you're on your heal necromancer, go in and escort people. Walk them over. Because like I said, the worst things that can happen here are essentially people going down. And I can stun break out of the slippy slip there as well to break out of that. Dodge the one-shot attack. And there you have it. The boss is dead. Again, not the highest HP on that guy, so you can kill him pretty quickly, but that is how Matthias works. That's how it is. We got the job done. There it is. Excellent work, team. Easy peasy, easy game, easy life. And that is the entirety of the Salvation Pass.